Look at the headline. Utah senators increase risk of war. Senators Lee and Hatch join a foolish campaign. Quote, it will be up to history to judge whether the latest partisan stunt joined by Utah Senators Mike Lee and Orrin Hatch amounts to an act of end times warmongering or merely another bit of cringeworthy buffoonery on the global stage. Here's the Detroit Free Press. The Republicans who dispatched this letter have disgraced themselves and undermined the credibility of the nation whose Constitution they took an oath to uphold. Among the signatories of this letter are Senators Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz, all three potential 2016 presidential contenders. At minimum, signing such a letter should disqualify each man from holding the high office they seek to degrade. Here's the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. The letter sent Monday by 47 Republican senators to Iran was damaging to America's role in the world. The senators who signed the letter should be ashamed. Senator John McCain, who was one of the senators who signed this letter, now seems to be expressing some regret about having signed it. He told Greta Van Susteren on Fox News last night, quote, maybe that wasn't the best way to do that. Senator Bob Corker, who chairs the Foreign Relations Committee, he told reporters that he's surprised so many Republican senators signed on to this thing. He did not. Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona, who also did not sign on to it, he said he did not think the letter would be helpful. Senator Susan Collins, who also did not sign on to this letter, she tells reporters now, quote, it did not seem to me to be appropriate for us to be writing the Ayatollah at this critical time during the negotiations. After getting just absolutely shellacked, just absolutely beat up coast to coast within their own party, in the press, not just by Democrats in the White House, but by everybody. After getting absolutely shellacked for what they did with this amazing letter to Iran. In the Daily Beast today, Republicans in the Senate tried to do sort of a take back. They tried to come up with an alternate explanation for what they just did, how they might have made this decision that everybody thinks was such a terrible idea. Their new explanation for what they did with this letter and why is that they didn't really mean it. It was a joke. They didn't mean it seriously at all. Look at this from the Daily Beast today. Quote, Republican aides were taken aback by the response to what they thought was a lighthearted attempt to signal to Iran and the public that Congress should have a role in the ongoing nuclear discussions. Two Republican aides described the letter as a cheeky reminder. One top Republican Senate aide says, quote, the administration has no sense of humor. Why doesn't anybody realize we were totally kidding when we wrote this letter to Iran saying, don't listen to our country about your nuclear program. Don't listen to our president. Obviously, we thought that was hilarious. Why is nobody laughing? And at one level, this is a 2016 story, right? I mean, here's Hillary Clinton tweeting today that the Republican letter to Iranian clerics undermines American leadership. She says no one considering running for commander-in-chief should be signing on. Marco Rubio's pitch to Republican donors about why he should be seen as a serious presidential contender this year for the Republican Party is that all these Republican governors in the race, they don't have foreign policy expertise. Not like Marco Rubio. Not like he does, because of his time in the Senate misunderstanding what Iran is. If this is what passes for high-level Republican expertise on foreign policy, we are about to have another really stupid presidential election cycle when it comes to foreign policy.